session is called Soul Curation. Soul Curation. I think the idea with the soul is that you have to find out what your soul loves and give it more. If you're going to have a prosperous soul, you need to find out what your soul loves, not what someone else thinks your soul should love. Not what others tell you as they paint your life with another layer of their identity for you. Not what do they think you should love. What does your soul love? Find out and give it more. What people does your soul love being around? Then get around those people more. What places does your soul love being in? When you're in that place, what is it that lights you up? What makes you lose track of time? What makes you feel happy? Do more of it. People, places, things, interests, hobbies, whatever it is that you know, my soul loves this and kind of thanks me for it when I do it, then you have to do more of that. And you will never know what your soul loves if you live from your ego. Because your ego is making you still do things and collect things and be around people that are protecting that identity that you have. So your ego will lead you into places and people and jobs and roles and situations that are all to do with the false self. This is why, by the way, and this is why the age of human flourishing is evidenced in another way, where a lot of people in the corporate world get to midlife, realize they've lived all of their lives being someone else's version of themselves, quit their job, give up their 6-7 figure salary, and go backpacking in the Himalayas to try and find themselves. What they're saying is, I know I've lived my life and not paid attention to what my soul needs me to do. I've not paid attention to my core essential self. I have had layers on my life and I've lived dancing to that tune of those labels. Now I'm in a crisis of health. I'm in a crisis of identity. I'm unhappy. I'm not fulfilled. I don't sleep well at night. I'm on prescription medication in a prolonged way, and so on and so on. Because we have neglected this essential part of us. We've gained the whole world, but we've lost ourselves, our soul. Now here's what I figured out. The gap between what your soul loves and the amount of time you spend doing it will be the size of your unhappiness. The gap between what your soul loves and how much time you spend doing what you know you love to do will be how big or small your unhappiness will be. If you know you love time alone, but you spend all your time amongst people, your soul will not flourish and you will not be happy, because you are denying your soul the solitude it loves. If you like to be in nature and you like the outdoors and walking in a forest or being in the wild, and you spend all your time like a battery hen laying eggs in the battery hen chicken farm, and you don't ever free range, so that you maybe occasionally walk in the forest or go into the wild on a camping vacation you have once every 5 years, but when you do that, you just so come alive. Another version of you comes out. Then that goes back in a box and you go back to the, chicken factory version of you. You will not be happy. You'll be happy while you're here, and we're all going to love that version of you. This is why some people that know you well will say to you, I don't know what that was about you, but when you were doing that the other week, when you were talking about that to me last week, you just lit up. I've never seen you as happy as you were when you were doing that or talking about that, or you just came back from being in that place, or you just found out that interest. That's what we're trying to say to each other. So if you put that down, walk away from it like it's a hobby, that you have to earn the right by killing yourself at work. You have to earn the right to do it again in 3 months' time. You got to realize doing that, whatever that is, doing versions of that that light up the same part of you it does, you got to do more of that. This is why I think David said, he leads me beside still waters. He makes me lay down in green pastures. He restores my soul. Because often the restoration of the soul is a lot more to do with places than with people. Often the restoration of the soul requires you to get away from people and get into nature, because nature has no ego. And it does not care about yours. Nature is just humbling. So to get away from people and to get into nature, nature is so humbling. It makes you feel so out of your depth in the best possible way, that the best version of you emerges when you are in nature. When you don't have your cell phone. That's scary. I know some of you think it's really spiritual to go on a 40-day fast. It's far more spiritual to have a 3-day fast from your phone. Far more spiritual. That'll hurt you a lot more than giving up French fries for a month. So to disconnect, to uncouple, to find out how you're wired. You know, it took me years to figure out that I'm an introvert. There you are, I said it. It's like confessing you're an alcoholic. I'm Paul Scanlon, I'm an introvert. It has been 3 years since my last party. I do not need fixing. There's nothing wrong with me. But I've been dragged to parties all my life. I hate parties. Because parties are full of small talk. And introverts hate small talk. In fact, I'll give you a warning. I'll give you an inside tip from an introvert. Never ever get into small talk with an introvert. Ever. I was at a party a while back, and I was so uncomfortable with the small talk. The first person I met, I said, "Hi, what's your name?" "I am Peter." "Peter, what do you do?" "I'm a postman." "Ah, Peter, what do you feel about the future of the post office in our country?" Peter's like, "What?" Peter's like, I'm not sure. "Well, I was just reading the other day, Peter, what the government is saying about the future of the mailing system." Peter's like, "Ah!" And I'm like, "I'm an introvert, get me out of here." So small talk with introvert is terrible, because we'll lock you into a deep conversation. So I would go to parties. I said to my wife enjoys parties more than me, and I'd say, "Look, I'm only going to the party if Neil is there." Neil, my friend Neil. Because Neil is an introvert who doesn't want to be there either. So I texted Neil, I said, "Neil, are you going tonight?" "Yeah." "Are you going?" "Only if you're going." "Okay, I'm only going if you're going." "Okay, me and you tonight in the corner, all night on our own, talking to each other. You are my security blanket and I am yours." I've realized introversion is my God-given superpower. I've come to believe that Jesus was one of us. Because the Bible says he often withdrew to solitary places. Hello? Come on. Let me tell you something. Listen to me. Introverts, extroverts, party animal people are not often withdrawing to solitary places. It didn't say he often went to parties. You know, whatever you often do tells me something about the values you have as a person. So if you often avoid people, check this out. To know you only have 3 years, which is all Jesus had. 3 years to reach people. Then he often withdrew from people. Tells you how big a value this was to him. So to withdraw often from people meant that he understood that he recharged, he replenished his batteries, he flourished, he got lit up, he forgot time when he was on his own. So years ago, when I realized I'm an introvert, the first thing I did was I bought a motorcycle, which wouldn't help my introversion at all in Jakarta. I don't ride in groups, but in this country, I'd have to. I hate riding in groups. Riding in groups is a drama. You know, I've been invited to ride, you know, America, you ride with the pastors and these guys. I'm like, okay, what time we going? About 11. I'm there ready to go 11, but 3 people haven't shown up yet. So already the riding for me is being hijacked by the group idea. Now we set off. Now we're, 20 minutes in, we're all stopping because the guy at the back got lost. Then he catches up, then we carry on. Then someone has a problem with the bike breakdown. Now we're all waiting for him. Introverts ride alone. Okay? So I figured out these things. But even as recent, by the way, as Victorian England, in Victorian era in England, I've studied this, people were considered to be mental cases, needing to go to mental asylums if they enjoyed solitude. To be an introvert in Victorian society was significant perhaps of a deeper problem you had, that you were insane. It's not long past, isn't the history? But, you can still feel the same now in America or at home in England, where because extroverts think introverts are people who need help. Stop being so, my wife would say to me, stop being so antisocial. Stop being so miserable. Stop being so miserable. You need to go out and socialize more. No, I don't. Leave me alone. How can you be so happy on your own? I don't know. It's a superpower. But I am. Listen to me. I talk about this on Aging Well. I love my own company. One of the keys to aging well is you need to love your own company. I laugh on my own at my own jokes. Years ago, people like me were locked up. I can sit, my wife will say to me, I'll be in a room on my own and I'll start laughing. TV's not on. I'm just like laughing. She's like, what? I'm not on my phone, I'm just laughing. I had a thought. I just had a thought. Then as I thought it through, I'm thinking, that's hilarious, and I'm just laughing so much to myself. I'm like, woo. So you have to find out, what does your soul, you, not the group, not the wife, not the husband, not the kids, not the family, you. What does your soul love to do? Because your soul needs you to do more of it. And do more of it all of your life. Now, I don't mean like criminal or weird stuff, okay? I just thought some of your self-talk was like, ooh, but I like crime. I just thought I should say that in case you're thinking, when you're in court next month, that preacher told me, do what your soul loves. I love stealing things. It lights me up inside. Well, now you're going inside for a long time. But, what is criminal? What would be criminal here would be perfectly legal in some other cultures. Seriously. What is polite? What is rude? What is socially acceptable here? As I travel more and more around the world, I'm thinking, okay, In England, you couldn't get away with that, but nobody cares about it in India or in China or some other part of the world. So, whatever your soul loves, sometimes when your souls learn to love things because your culture enables you to do that, and you come to England and perhaps want to do that thing your soul loves in England, you know, wrestle a tiger or something, I don't know, then it's not as easy to do that. What does your soul love? So collect it, curation, the idea of curating. Go and curate, collect in a bespoke, forensic way. Collect things that your soul loves. Because if you don't feed your soul with what it loves, you will be unhappy, and you'll think your unhappiness is to do with external things. It's my job, it's my relationships, it's my marriage, it's my family, it's my health, it's my whatever. And what happens is human beings start to try and fix everything. Then they fix everything. 2 years later, they're deeply unhappy again. So now they think, okay, so I need to now fix some more things, and spend all their lives trying to rearrange life in a way that they think makes them happy, not knowing happiness is an inside job. Right. It's from the inside out. So you could finish up like the Apostle Paul did, and many others through history, in a situation where you think there's no happiness there. The man's in jail. The man's lost his freedom, or whatever it may be that you lose, because you might lose your job and your status and realize that actually was never your happiness. You made it your happiness, but now you've lost it. If you can't be happy, then it proves you are living from your ego attachment to your job rather than your soul, which is always happy. Your soul is always happy, but it knows that you don't know that. It knows the rest of you don't know. The rest of your humanity doesn't realize that your happiness rests in looking after what the essential core you loves and lights up when you do that. So you have to be intentional as you age about what does your soul love, and do more of it. Whatever it is for you, relationships, I don't know, places, things, I don't know, I could give you a list. You need to sit, do this exercise, a bit of homework for you. I know you've got a lot on, but a bit of homework for you. This week somewhere, write down 5 things that your soul loves. Whatever they are, ask yourself, how much time do I spend doing them? If the answer is very little, then you will understand why you battle so much with stress, unhappiness, poor sleep patterns, unfulfillment, that achievement doesn't take care of, because achievement and fulfillment are 2 different things. About 5 things, and ask yourself, how much time do I spend doing those things? Because your soul needs you to do more of them. Find out what your soul loves and do more of it. And I think in this age of human flourishing, I am so much more aware than ever of this yearning. There is a yearning amongst us humans for something else, something transcendent, something spiritual, something beyond ourselves. I think it's the soul that's shouting at humanity to say, this is not working. There's a new age that's dawning. It's coming from the inside out. It's shouting at us. And the earlier, you young people in here, the earlier you find out what your soul loves, the less chance there is you'll be miserable in older life, because you didn't listen to that part of you in your formative years.